Hi, I'm Mel Lindberg, and I'll be presenting to you on IB Psychology tonight. And I'm hoping to give you an overview of what your students could look forward to in our social science class next year. Um, in psychology, the short definition is we study the brain and behavior, right? And the psychology is for us looking at more in depth of the brain, right? Not just the fact that there is a brain. It's not a biology class. We look at neuropsychology. So we look at cognitive functions, we look at processing, we look at localization and plasticity, and then we look at observable behavior. Background on me, this is currently my 20th year teaching high school social sciences, my 19th year teaching psychology, and this is my 12th year at Del Mar. I've taught 5 years of AP psychology, and this is now my 5th year of teaching IB psychology at Del Mar. For our students, it is offered at the junior or senior year, and it is a standard level 1-year course. A general course description is that for IB, it is heavily research driven. Unlike AP, which is just all the minutia of everything that they could possibly know about psychology, is very much driven on theories and research that exists that describes human behavior and human cognitive functioning and biological processes. So in our IB psych, we study through the lens of research. And the emphasis for us is that there are 3 perspectives on how we describe behavior, and then one specific area of psychology study. So in IB, there's the cognitive level of analysis, there's the biological level of analysis, and the sociocultural level of analysis. And IB presents this to the students as these are the way psychologists describe humans and human behavior, either through the lens of a cognitive psychologist, a biological neuropsychologist, or the sociocultural level, like those impacts on human behavior. And then the 4th unit we have, major unit, is on developmental psychology, so human development. And in IB, all of that is geared towards the IA, the internal assessment, which is the students will replicate one important psychological research experiment. And that is what really sets IB apart from AP psychology, is that they are very much more hands-on and looking more in depth. And so as far as I'm concerned, it is much more like a college level psychology class. For IB, for the IB grade, it is broken into 3 segments. There is the internal and the external. So the external are the sit-down papers, and this is, of course, non-distance learning. So paper 1 is 2 hours, with 1 hour for 3 short answer questions, and 1 hour for one longer extended essay. It's not an EE per se, but it is about a 1 hour long essay that they're expected to write. The 3 in 1 hour are mandatory, compulsory. They have to answer 1 for biological level, 1 from cognitive, and 1 from sociocultural. For the second part, they choose 1, but they only have 3 choices. They either have to do bio, cognitive, or sociocultural, and they have to write 1 essay. Paper 2 is just 1 hour, so it's 1 big response essay. And it is 15 questions, of which at least 3 will be on developmental psychology. And so the emphasis should be for them to choose developmental, since we will spend a good deal of our spring semester studying it. So they should be prepared to write an essay about developmental psychology for that second sit down. The internal assessment, the other 25% of the overall IB grade, is something we start in the end of the fall semester with a rough draft due mid-February, with a final draft due mid to late March. And that is where they do replicate what they call a simple experiment, because it's just one variable, one independent, one dependent variable that they measure, and hopefully are able to write to their experiences in it. As far as the class goes, there are other assessments. It isn't just those ones. The students will be expected to complete assignments and essays and multiple choice, check-in quizzes and referencing. There is ongoing major research experiments that we'll look at. We both look at historical ones, right? And where that led psychology, and current research, right? Modern examples of very important research are happening very close to home here. We have the Virtual Human Interaction Lab at Stanford. There's also Dr. Gallant's research into brain imaging at UC Berkeley, and having computer augmented programs that are reading what is happening in the occipital lobe. It is just absolutely astounding what they're doing, and it's the future of understanding human consciousness. Actually, there is a heavy emphasis on statistics because we're looking for correlations, right? In psychology, there's not a lot of causation, although that is what news looks for, and that's what, when things go wrong, people on TV look for. But psychologists are really looking for correlations. We're looking for the connection between environment or cognitive processing or biological processing and what we observe or what people think and do, right? And they will do a developmental psychology research project, maybe even two, depending on them. And then in the fall, there is a final exam. And in the spring, there is a final research project. That's why there's a potential second developmental psychology research project, because often students will choose to do their final research project again on more developmental psych. Homework is mainly reading and writing. There it is. And they can't, I have not seen any student be successful only doing what we do in class, right? You need to have more time for psychology than just class time. And so really it is time management skills, right? And I can't stress it enough that students that are successful are the ones that can figure out how to spend some time outside of class delving into the reading and reading research, and then coming into class with questions about what they do or don't understand. And so it typically takes a couple hours a week with the course content, either researching it, reading it, or working on writing to it. And also getting comfortable with statistics, right? Being able to see that math is everywhere, including psychology, and it is not to be feared, but it is able to explain stimuli and responses, and applying statistics to say why research is valid or even invalid. I know this is often a question. There is no summer assignment. IB Psychology does not even recommend that I give a summer assignment. We come in together in August and get right to it. And I do want to reemphasize, I'm sorry we're not doing this in person. I very much enjoy getting to talk to parents and get to see you and have us together in room one. But if not, we're going to make the best of it. So if you want to email, I'd be happy to answer any questions you have. The school email is mlindberg, right? First initial, last name, @cuhsd.org. And I'd happy to entertain any questions that you may have about it. But I know that this is a great opportunity for juniors and seniors to really get a grasp on, if it's just something they want to do in college. And if not, they still learn a lot about humans and human behavior that they can apply in whatever else they do later on in their life or in their educational experience. So thank you for being here, and I look forward to meeting your student in my class next year.